Well, I think it's a little bit more like it, isn't it? We've got the leaves drawn on here, and you can see the overall effect. The leaves follow the anatomy to some extent, and they radiate out, so there's not much parallel, things actually splaying as they go out. And I've taken a bit of trouble to match each side, and I've done that using dividers, of course, checking across, drawing lines, so I've got a few like a line like this, then matching that point with that point, and so on. I've made the drawing up on the wood, and I've blacked it in so you can see it. I've also used this piece of masking tape, which I've divided and folded over, and I can mark where a leaf will go on one side and drop it over to the other, so I can check again for the symmetry. Don't be too obsessive about the symmetry, but it should look pretty equal. More work to do up here. And the other thing I would say about this is I've made a little bit more of these features here. I've got fewer leaves than on my drawing, but this feature here, where you've got this little division between one set of leaves and another, I think that's quite a nice little detail, so I put more of those in. And we do have a sense of about a halfway point here. These leaves are coming this way, these leaves are coming that way. So between the two, there's a sort of a bit of a takeover here. But what will happen is these leaves will go underneath that. So there's more wood to come away. But what I want to do is start dividing these leaves, or getting some sense of the leaves, so that I can then fill the anatomy into the leaves themselves. So we'll get a big V-tool and we'll start carving them. I'm going to go around everything and just line it in like this. You can see that there are different layers. For example, this is higher than this one at the back. So I'm really at the moment more concerned with this part, these top bits. And then there's a second layer underneath. But I'm going to work my way all the way around the carving just to set them in nicely like that. Now I've gone round and set in all these edges of the leaves, just to give me an idea of what's happening. I can start back at the eye and try and bring some of this shape out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create more of this shelf down here by removing wood here underneath this eyelid. What it means is this leaf now is standing out a bit more proud, and I can start bringing this down into more of a smooth curve. So the eyelid comes like this, there's a slight turn. So this plane will continue along here and into there, behind this leaf. So let's just set this in a little better. Here that you might need your bent tools again. like so, to be able to get this shape. So what we want is a nice fluid curve coming down the over the eyelid and onto the cheek. And mould will come away from here up to that eyelid. So we can see how the eyelid is going to come over and become this leaf. And what we've got here is a sort of a rounded part of the leaf. So we're going to have to shape this, and all these will run up to here like this. I've cleaned up along here, which is the lower eyelid, and I'm going to now follow this around, and the logic of this across this part of the carving. What it means is that I'm going to take wood along here, and these leaves will be below the ones from the forehead and be the lowest from the lowest in the carving. So I've got to take this back this way. Okay. From the eye, I've now come down to the nose and this nostril around here. So I'm going to take my gouge and come up this part of the cheek and under the nose here. And this tool matches the same nostril on each side. So the same tool we can stab in this way and strengthen the actual nose itself. So coming right round here so that this line comes over into the top crease of the nose here. And we want to try and get that the same on each side. So from here we can take some of this down. And there's a nice sort of hollow here, nice depression. Push that into the nose. And then over this upper lip here. Now, I'm not actually going to undercut. I'm just going to come straight down for the moment. That'll do for now. So make a little bit of a hollow here. I still need to clean up here. So that gives a little bit of an interesting shape there. And then we're going to come down to the lip and swap into a narrower gouge here. Start deepening this area here. So there's the edge of the leaf coming round. I'm not undercutting. There's probably going to be very little undercutting in this carving. But what I do want to do is push this in here. So I've got more of a sort of wall coming down there. Across here, there's our little depression in the middle. And then when I get so far down, I can put my V-tool in here. Just a bit more depth in there. Clear some of that out. And then this this leaf here rounds over down into this one. Then this leaf rounds over more into that one over there. At this point you can start making your cuts clean. Try not to leave tearing. You can see also the colour difference, how dirty this wood has become. So now we have to, as we get nearer the final surface, we want to make our cuts clean without tears and try and keep the surface as clean as possible. So when we've got a sense of where that should be, we can set this edge in, just as we would any other relief carving. But we needn't undercut. I don't think it's necessary too much, because as long as we have nice sharp lines, I think that'll do the job. Coming around here, undercutting the, or the setting in the edge of this leaf. At some point you're going to have to get a bent tool in here to dig this out. Down here will be a bit of a recess as well, so we'll take wood out here. So what we're doing is by taking wood away from here, we're making more of this mouth, and later on we're going to emphasize this a bit more. But just for the moment, make a good pass and make sure that this leaf here is doing what you want it to do, and that is going inside. Get the right tool here, inside the other one, and we're getting some nice clean flowing lines going around. And at some point, of course, these pencil lines are going to disappear like that, and we're left with just the line created by the change in light and shadow.